Yo, 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 no maniacs. Welcome to the show. This is Nomad Live, all Bears all the time, in conjunction with Sports Zone Chicago and the SuperBack, Shawn Sierra, who's still on mute. Hey, man, we got about to have a hell of a conversation today. As you all saw on the thumbnail. There's a bunch of rumors and conversations about Micah Parsons out there in Dallas. I have some thoughts about it, some real serious thoughts about it. And it goes into, how their season turned out, some Dak Prescott conversation, and the fact that they lost their defensive coordinator this year. He went to another team. He's head coach for another team now. And that conversation is going to get heated. I already see the comments in the comment section about, oh, no, we shouldn't, trade for these big contracts. He doesn't have a big contract yet, but he's about to have a big contract. But we'll save that for the second half of the show. We got some other news and notes to get to, but that's going to be a hell of a conversation once we get there. But let me stop talking so much and pass it over to the Canuck and give out some pleasantries.
Yo, no maniacs, what's popping? It's a Friday. Get your drinks on. Get your I'd say get your tacos, but that's Tuesday. Either way, eat tacos every day. It's like as far as the SuperBack is concerned, he's in. SuperBack, you in?
Hell yeah.
If he ain't passed it, he's in. Hey, man, should be some fun. We're going to talk about a little bit of Micah Parsons. I'm interested to see where this conversation is going to go. Outside of that, let's give some love to you guys out there in the world, hanging out with us, chopping it up with us. We got my guy, Junior. What's up, Junior? Patty Laura in the building. Hey, Patty, how you doing? Jay Grizz. Yoshia Yadua, what are you saying, Yoshia? My guy Squeegee, Mr. Mayhem's holding it down with us today. Cornelius Squalls, as per normal. It's your boy Crimson. Crimson's in the building too. Booby, FFG style. Who else we got? We got Dobbsy in the building. FLA Bears fan. Florida, my home away from home. Man, we got a packed house here today. So I'm gonna throw it down to my guy, the Bishop. He's going to lay it down, and then we'll get into the actuality of the situations today. Go ahead, Bishop.
TGIF. That's what it is today. Yes, it is. What's going on? No maniacs and sports zoners. Are y'all ready to talk some Bears football today? I know I am, and I'm with my guys today. Yes, I am. But before I get to those guys, let me give my shout-outs to, I always give my shout-outs to my man, V-Dub up in the D out there on that truck. Be safe, my guy. I know y'all got some bad weather up there. To my man, Stuart and Sophie out there in Florida. Matter of fact, working on a tan, aren't you? By the way. And to Rita, Felicia, Chi-Town, West Side, South Side. Stand up. To my man, always, as always, Shawn, the SuperBack. What it is, my guy. How you doing today?
Man, TGI Mickey Ficky F. Great day, great workout this morning at CrossFit. Great show this morning that I had on my own. And I'm ready to talk a lot of Bears football. I ended the conversation, my show today with Bears talk. We got into a lot earlier. We got into WNBA draft, which is Monday. Got into some bull stuff, but I specifically ended the show with Bears talk because I knew we could pick it up here. So I'm fired up. I'm excited about it. And let's get it cracking. Let's get it cracking, Nomad.
All right, man. Look, let's get to some news and notes first, fellas, man. Again, welcome to the show, you guys, man. Keep it coming in the chat. Be honest about these when we start talking about whatever we're talking about. Just be honest, and whatever your takes are, they'll be respected here. Just be respectful about them, and we'll be fine with that. Hey, so the first thing right off the top is we lost EQ to the Saints. We lost him in free agency to the Saints. So we've already spoken at nauseum about how thin we are wide receiver depth. Now we just lost EQ. I'm gonna reserve my comments and let you guys take it from there and wait till last.
I wonder why he reserved his comments.
You want me to go? Do it now.
No, that's fine. I can go. It was somewhat to be expected. I'm not sure what everybody else's thoughts are, but I think that one was to be expected, including by Equanimous St. Brown himself. Equanimous was brought in mainly as Luke Getsy's guy. He was Luke Getsy's, extension of the offense, if you will, to help sort of train up and coach up those wide receivers. And I think we saw about how well that worked out. So unfortunately, Mr. Brown is no longer with us. That's fine though. We'll see how well he does in New Orleans. He brings a lot to the table, but not quite enough is really where I'll leave it. Bishop, what are your thoughts?
I'm not surprised. I didn't expect him to be returning. I myself personally, I did, however, think that he may end up with his brother up in Detroit. But either way, hey, I'm happy for the man. I'm glad he's had an opportunity to land somewhere and continue his career. Hopefully, he can do well out there with the Saints. And Lord knows, I guess they can use some additional hands to try to catch a football. But with that being said, I'm gonna pass it to my man SuperBack. What you got to say about it, brother?
Yeah, not surprised. Not surprised. They're going to add another wide receiver in the draft or two. You still got to see what Terrence Scott has. I don't think they're done with the Bayless Jones experiment. So looks like he won't be blocking on these wide receiver screens very much anymore. So not surprised. Nimolo.
You know what? One thing I wanted to ask before we move to the next piece of news and notes. Did we fall in love with EQ's blocking ability and what he brought to the table in that department and not see him for what he actually is and give him enough opportunities to be a receiver? Did we miss the bus there? What do you guys feel about that, kids? Kids, you on mute, man.
And I'm laughing over here. In any event, here's the deal. Yes, we definitely did, but at the same time, that same comment could be made about Velus Jones and Tyler Scott and Darnell Mooney, right? I think there was some confusion by way of scheme, and he fit the scheme under that pretense. So did N'Keal Harry, I believe. Both of those guys were. Yeah, you're home, your guy, huh? Right. So both of them are blocking wide receivers, or at least they excel at blocking. That does not take away either one's capability to really stretch the field. Those guys are burners. Both of them are. So's Darnell Mooney. Difference being, Darnell Mooney is not a blocking receiver. And what we saw last season was a lot of Darnell Mooney, Velus Jones, and Tyler Scott being put into the Equanimeous St. Brown role when he was hurt. And that role strictly is a blocking wide receiver case scenario. Seemed to work for N'Keal when he was on the field. I'll give him that too. He seemed to fit the mold when required. Unfortunately, again, injury to both of those guys forced the other three wide receivers into that blocking role. And I don't think in the end it worked out well for anybody but Equanimeous St. Brown and potentially N'Keal Harry sometimes. Bishop.
Shawn, go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I don't think we use I don't think the last offensive coordinator maximized his potential. All right, but there was a problem with that. All right, with a lot of people and their potential not being maximized. So, and EQ St. Brown was one of them. All right, Justin Fields was another one. N'Keal Harry was another one. Darnell Mooney was another one. All right, just people didn't truly get utilized to the best of their ability. And that's what happens when you get a first-time play caller. It's easy to sit there as a quarterback coach and say what you would call, okay, because there's no pressure on you. But when this pressure's on, when you're in that seat, it's a different story. It's a different story when you're calling plays. It's different stories making adjustments on the fly. It's a different story. And he didn't do a very good job of it. Now, he got another gig quickly. Why? I have no idea. All right, I'm sure there's a lot of politics involved in it, but no, we did not maximize him. We missed a great opportunity. The kid's like 6'4", 6'5". It's not like he's a midget. All right, I mean,
and
this dude
4.340.
This dude could have jumped up and got some footballs. I mean, he has a lot. The skill set he has just needs to be maximized. On top of the fact that he's a great blocker, so yeah, definitely missed an opportunity there. But of course, blame it all on the quarterback from before. Why not?
Oh yeah, it's quarterback's fault, Shawn, for sure.
Always,
100 billion%.
Always the QB.
I think both the tight ends and up until like last year, I think the tight ends, and I'm talking about the first couple of years of the Poles regime, tight ends, EQ St. Brown, all those receivers, man, suffered because of the lack in basically competence on the offensive line. I think they were stuck having to make up for some of the shortcomings that Ryan Poles just didn't do enough on the offensive line, and they were stuck having to be in line and be in position to, block guys that they shouldn't have had to block because of offensive line incompetence. And I think we definitely underutilize EQ St. Brown, no doubt about it, man. There's a couple of receivers I would say the same thing for. You guys kind of spoke to him. But no doubt about it, man, we didn't see him for what he really was, and I think it was due to, the competency of the offensive line and them having to be used as blockers more than receivers. The quarterback suffered for it, everybody suffered for it, but that's done now. You know what I mean? But I hope he's used more as a receiver at where he's going than not, man. I just like to see, guys that have potential flourish. And he just didn't really get the chance to do that here. But, that being said, we still got to get some depth there. We picked up Dante Pettis. I know that we're going to have to do some work in the draft to get that position kind of solidified. It's not looking good right now, to be quite honest with you. And I just like to see what they do with it. Here's another piece of another little nugget, somebody I've been keeping my eyes on. If you guys, by the way, that guy just put in the chat, Ryan Flournoy, 6'2", 197. He didn't cost the Bears. He came on a visit. He didn't cost the Bears a 30 because he's a local guy, 6'2", 197. I can't remember exactly what school he went to right off the top of my head, but I know he's a Hazelcrest guy. He's out of Hazelcrest. So that was just a nugget in case you guys want to go check out who that guy is. He's a guy that the Bears brought in on a visit, a receiver, 6'2", 197, Ryan Flournoy. But hey, is
you any relation to Big Meech?
That's a good question. Yeah, Big Meech. Hey, he's in the region. Big Meech is a Detroit guy, but you never know, man.
Hey, a lot of people got people in Detroit.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Chicago people got people in Detroit, and vice versa.
That's from somebody who's been watching BMF. Apparently,
I just got done. New episode every Friday, man. What are you talking about? He went to Southeast
after the show.
He went to Southeast Missouri State.
Yeah, thank you, Berlissimo. That's exactly right. Southeast Missouri State. Nice looking. He's a possession receiver. If I had to measure him and put a title on him, I consider him a possession receiver. But he's nice. Got some nice tape out there. So, guys, do yourself a favor. Go check out Ryan Flournoy and see what you guys think about him. We can come talk about that Sunday, I guess. But here's a guy. Hey, fellas, here's a guy that I've been paying close attention to since we signed Eric Washington as our defensive coordinator. Why? Because all last year I thought that we were lacking big bodies, and had we had to make a playoff push per se, I think that would have shown up. We didn't have enough big bodies in the middle. So Jordan Phillips just signed with, I believe, let me see, the Giants. Jordan Phillips. I thought he would have been a nice piece to back up big boy Andrew Billings. I thought that would have been a perfect piece, and I thought that they were waiting in order to get him. I was like, that's one of the more likely pieces I can see coming to the Bears because it wouldn't have costed them a whole hell of a lot to get him. Right. And so I don't know if you got 97 for the Bills. If anybody wants to know, Jordan Phillips, D tackle. I think Poles fumbled this one. I think they should have made that signing.
Can't sign them all. Best I'll say about this. There's other DTs out there, and the draft is actually full of them. So, hard to say what Poles has got up his sleeve right now, but there's still a couple months to go in free agency. I'm sure there's a couple more DTs on the market, but more importantly, there's some solid DTs in this draft. So we'll see what he does come.
Remember, we only got 4 picks, man.
Oh, you took the
well, I know, but
and about 7 needs. You know what I mean? You got 4 picks and about 7 needs. And
says the corner. Says the DB who wants us to draft the DB. I'm just messing with you. In any event, there's like if they can't score that edge rusher, right, because edge rusher is so short in this draft, there's not a lot of them. He might end up with a DT with a 3 tech instead. So I'm not I wouldn't go rushing into the DT market right now, to be honest with you. I'd wait till after the draft. What do you guys think?
Well, did Poles fumble? Possibly, but again, I would say this: the fact that we don't have that many picks, that could be a yes, depending on the price tag. Now, it also depends on if he can work any magic to get any additional picks out of this draft to pick up one. We'll have to wait and see, But to what you said, Kedz, no, you can't get them all. And at the same time, sometimes you can overplay your hand and you end up a little short versus, playing the long game, which you started out doing, and then you got a little snap happy and decided to just throw your chips all into the middle of the table. Problem was, that wasn't the hand to do it. But either way, we shall see. Anything can happen, And then too, don't forget now. Once training camp and everything kicks in and guys start getting cut, be some flexibility to pick some guys up. So plenty of time. It's just April the 12th, so we got plenty of time. So what you think, SuperBack?
Yeah, you can't. You're right. You can't sign them all. All right. Can't. So we'll wait and see how it plays out. And maybe he wasn't on his radar. Maybe Washington didn't want him. Who knows? But I'm not worried about a backup DT. We'll make sure we get depth because I believe he understands that is an issue. The front four are good, but I think we'll be fine. I'm not too worried about it.
Yeah, I just felt like, with the addition of Eric Washington, we needed, I think that was a position of need, no doubt about it in my mind. Everybody else can have their opinion about it, but when I look at the holes on the roster, that depth at the one tech it really kind of stuck out to me, man. And that's I just thought he was a perfect fit. And in my opinion, I think he fumbled not bringing that guy. I think it was an opportunity to get him, and he probably missed it. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, I'm gonna say that, man, but I just think Jordan Phillips is a high quality defensive tackle. Because I start thinking about if you watch the Kansas City playoff run, if you can help me out with the chat, kids. If you watch the Kansas City playoff run, one big thing that would have stuck out to you if you watched it carefully was the addition of Mike Pennell and his role being that backup one tech on that team. He was absolutely enormous. I think without Mike Pennell, that backup one tech, I don't think Kansas City goes as far and wins it. I'm telling you, he was a huge part of what they did. He freed up what's his name, Jones, for a lot of one-on-ones when he shouldn't have been able to, because they had to deal with Mike Pennell, who was getting hella penetration. So they had to kind of double him to keep him from collapsing the middle of the defense and to let Jones get home. But man, I just really think highly of that position, man. I think it's under heralded. I think people don't talk about it enough, man. But I don't know what they're gonna do. They still got plenty of time before training camp. Guys are gonna get cut. It's gonna be plenty of time to get a guy. You guys are right, but I just thought he was the right guy for the situation. But
what was the price tag on him, though, man? How much did he get?
That hasn't been released yet. It could be out there now.
Okay.
Check out Ian Rappaport if you want to. That's where I got the news from. He might have an updated contract situation out there, but he didn't have it by the time we got into the show. Really quick, man. So just heard that Jaden Daniels is having a private visit with the Vikings. The Vikings are sitting at number 11, of course. So let's talk about who they would have to leapfrog to get Jaden Daniels, kids. To me, it's pretty simple. What do you think?
You said to me it was pretty simple. I'm waiting to hear what's so simple.
I'm just who they at number 11. Who would they have to leapfrog? Where do you see them having to get to in order to be able to get Jaden Daniels?
Bro, I don't know. So let's again. We looked at some of this the other day, but we'll take another quick look. So Patriots quarterback, Commanders quarterback, Chargers likely not a quarterback, likely offensive lineman. Sorry, I skipped over Arizona, likely a wide receiver. Then you've got the Giants, likely a quarterback. Who are the next two? I'm blanking out. Atlanta's number 8.
And we're 7?
But there's one more in the middle. There's 7. I'm missing one.
Giants, Atlanta. Oh shoot, I forget now, bro. My bad.
I will get this in a second, but they've got to jump.
7 is Tennessee Titans.
Thank you. So Tennessee, like, all bets are off for Tennessee. Real talk. Like, have they dipped in and got a couple of quarterbacks? Yes. Are those their quarterback of the future?
Yeah.
I'm. You think so?
Yeah.
Will Levis.
Yeah. Okay.
They're rocking with Will Levis, bro.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying, maybe they aren't. So if they're rolling with Will Levis this season, then what do you guys think that Tennessee's going to do? Offensive line, wide receiver,
offensive line.
Okay. All right. So they've got 4 teams right off the bat that they need to jump to get in. Now they're also going to be battling against teams that are in and around where they are for trade up case scenario. And one of those teams is definitely the Las Vegas Raiders. They're 13. They're right around where they are. The difference between them and the Raiders is that they have 2 first rounders this season. The Raiders have multiple. The Raiders could trade out of next year. They don't necessarily have to care. So I don't see them getting no Jaden Daniels. I can, you know what I'm saying? I'll just put that out there now. I don't see that happening. I could see a Michael Penix. I could see a JJ McCarthy. Either one of those guys sounds a bit more realistic. Like, I suppose the team you would have to really think about here would be the Giants. Giants are generally not one to make these types of trades, right? They made a trade with us a couple of years ago, and it was historic for them. They never really did stuff like that and traded back. It was a big deal. Maybe they do it again. Still, I find it a little bit doubtful that they would, given the amount of requirements on their squad. But who's to say? Maybe trading back is in their best interest. I think the Giants are the team that you have to sort of squarely look at, because I'm not 100% sure that they're ready at this present time to move off of Daniel Jones. And I ain't saying Daniel Jones is the guy. I'm saying Daniel Jones's contract is massive. That's really what I'm trying to say. So if they are going to bring a guy, he's likely either going to sit behind that guy who's making the big contract or what. So maybe it's the Giants. Either way, if it ain't the Giants, if I'm Ryan Poles, I'm trading with somebody else to get them up in front, just to make sure that the Vikings don't get no Jaden Daniels. That's just me.
Well, I think it's a great diversionary tactic. I believe they really got their mind on, they got their sights on Michael Penix, but they threw Jaden Daniels into the mix to kind of stir some things up. If they do decide to make a move, they're going to make a move and make a trade with probably Arizona for that number 4 slot, because I don't see New England taking Penix and or Daniels. Daniels going number 2. If for whatever reason he's going to end up going number 2, but I think Minnesota may make a move to go get their guy, and I think their guy is actually Michael Penix Jr., because they've met with him twice. They've met with him, and then they had the private visit with him, so in the workout. So I think that's who they got in their crosshairs, but they now have thrown Jaden Daniels into the mix just to kind of stir some things up and to see who else is going to make some moves like the Giants, because that is the only other team I see that really had at that right in the middle of the pack, right there between 1 and 10, that really has a need at quarterback and they need to reset the clock as far as contract wise, because Daniel Jones is not that future, so we'll have to see. But I think they threw that into the mix to kind of stir some things up. But you never know. They may make a move, and they might be comfortable staying where they are, figuring that they can get Michael Penix. That's what I think they really got their sights on. Unless the name that we haven't heard a lot about is Bo Nix, with regard to working out that guy that can be considered that second tier guy, but has a lot of snaps in college, who will probably be equally as pro ready as you can get in terms of being able to be a big body, QB that can fill that need for them. So we'll see. It's going to get interesting, guys. What's today, the 12th? Got 13 days, y'all. 13
Sorry, I gotta throw this up before we throw to Shawn, but good old Berlissimo killing it in the chat. Vikings looking at Daniel the draft Penix is like me going to look at a Lamborghini because I really want an F-150.
That's a good one.
Man.
Hey, go ahead, Shawn.
Oh, I actually lost the whole question.
So I'll rephrase it. So the Vikings they brought him in for a private visit, talking about Jaden
Daniels
sitting at number 11. What does that make you think? And who would they? I think I know where they got to get all the way to 2, in my opinion, to get him.
Yeah, that's they're doing their due diligence. They're doing their due diligence. If they, things can change. I don't know if they're going to get there. Maybe I don't know. They're going to trade up. How far can they get up? I don't know. I really don't know. And this is the thing that makes me wonder why Poles didn't. And actually, I shouldn't say that, because Poles may trade. All right, everyone's thinking, oh, for sure. You got to remember, he's got everyone else's medicals now. Now he's got Caleb Williams. All right, and if Poles puts that number 1 pick on the block, people are going to know that the medicals that Caleb Williams had to be pretty good in order to put. You know what I mean? So, I still think they're going. It's all signs indicate that they're going to draft Caleb. But as far as Minnesota going up there, they have to come up with a lot, man. They have to come. You're coming up from 11 to 1 or to 2 or to 3. And I think you're right, Nomad. I don't think he's getting past 2. So you got to go into 2. And this is where I talked about earlier in the year. If we made that 1 to 2, and then 2 to something, remember I kept saying, just get to number 2. Just get to number 2. Just get to number 2. Think of the picks we'd have. All right, we would end up having 3 first-round picks next year, and most likely 2 or 3 in 2026. Okay, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Minnesota. I don't know. They like him. Maybe again. Sometimes they sent a slew of people over there to see him, right? Or no, that is a private workout. So yeah, so that's what they got to bring up. They got to offer a lot. What are you going to offer? I don't know. I hope you don't offer. Oh, I shouldn't say I hope. I don't think they're going to offer Justin Jefferson, because who the hell are you going to have him throw to? Jordan Addison?
No, they will. They just might. Don't be surprised about that. And that's why I was saying, they're not going to get
sense. That don't make sense. You have a stud receiver, and then you get a young quarterback, and you throw. You're gonna you want you. What did you want your stud receiver to go? Yeah, well, it's not.
I hear where you're coming from, and we've seen the results of it. It was not positive, but they did it. I'm just saying.
But no, DJ Moore was not the first choice. All right, that wasn't the first choice. He was the 3rd or 4th choice. It's not as if they said we want DJ Moore or nothing. They wanted Brian Burns. They wanted another D tackle. I wanted to say that so DJ Moore was secondary. So. Sure. And who? So you look. I mean, if you want to go that route, I mean, who do they have that you'd want to take other than Justin? You know what I mean? Like Justin Jefferson. Who else can they offer?
That's all they can offer. They could offer Jordan Addison on his rookie deal, but that's not a smart move. Probably want to go the other way around, right? Yeah,
but Justin, for me, Jordan Addison isn't as electric as Justin Jefferson, so I'm not going to trade that dude for my quarterback. So we'll see. But then again, like you said, Carolina I guess they had to. They wanted it. So
all right. I'm just saying that they did it, but like Arizona, and this is where things get interesting. Arizona is the one team where outside of the Giants, I can see them making that Justin Jefferson trade, because Arizona is squarely sort of positioned at wide receiver. Hey, we'll throw you the number 1 wide receiver in the league. We get our quarterback, you get the wide receiver, and everybody's happy. I think I think that's an interesting conversation to be had. I'm not sure if the Vikings do. We'll have to see.
Real quick, man. Let's switch gears real fast, man. We got a couple more things before we get into the meat and potatoes of the conversation about Micah Parsons. Okay, so it's two questions in the same vein, but I'll only ask one at a time. Now, just think about this for a second, guys, before you answer. And everybody in the chat, get ready to fire your responses in here. What position group at number 9 would you be totally surprised that they drafted? I mean, totally shocked. What position group and why? At number 9, think about that, kids. I'll give you one right off the top. I think center. Go ahead.
Defensive back.
Okay.
Defensive back.
And your reasons for that are?
We have a plethora of them. Well, that's simple.
Okay. You want to speak to that, Bishop?
Hit me with that question again, bro.
What position group would you be most surprised at number 9 that the Bears drafted a player there? What position group would most surprise you? OT. I see a lot of OT running back, center.
Would I be surprised?
Tight end.
I gotta go with Kedz. I mean, they always drafting DBs, but I would be shocked. So I would say I would.
So
be
they got Cooper DeJean at 9. It'll shock you.
Holy smokes! And he's so good, but yes.
Okay.
I mean, as good as he is, yes. Yeah. That I gotta rock with Kedz on that one, man.
So you saying corner specifically?
Yeah.
Like I would also throw safety into the mix if they hadn't backfilled with Byard already. I would say I would be less surprised at safety. At this point, DB.
Go ahead, Shawn.
Anything on defense except defensive end?
Anything
no corners
except DN.
Yeah.
What about 3 tech, Shawn?
No, I don't think they'll go for 3. I'd be surprised there too. I don't think they're going to go. Because again, that defense you have, I think the defense you have, you've upgraded with the safety. You're upgrading with Javon Dexter taking another step forward. I think the defense is good. Linebacking core solid. Your secondary solid. I think you're fine. The only thing, again, that's the only thing I'd be surprised. Only thing I wouldn't be surprised if it's a DN. Otherwise, anything on defense.
All right. How about this? Let's stay in the same exact conversation. Now, this is something, and I want you to consider this as you're thinking about, and you guys in the chat, get ready to answer this question as well. Now, I feel pretty good that they want to get a receiver high. And if it's at number 9, now this is
a dope man. No, I'm kidding.
A specific question is, remember now, before you answer this question, we just grabbed Keenan Allen. What type of receiver are you looking for at 9? Is it an X receiver or is it a slot guy? What receiver, if you're going at receiver at 9, is it an X receiver or is it a slot receiver? Kid, you go. And remember, we just got Keenan Allen.
Yeah. I would not really discriminate here. And it's weird for me to answer your question like that, but I would be aiming for an X receiver, but I could live with that one. I could live with a worthy for instance, as opposed to an X. So I would be looking at whoever's available on the board. If there's a high caliber X there, yes, let's go. If not, I would probably trade back and take a wide receiver if that's the case.
X is popping up all day in the chat. X. Come on, Bear Truth 9, man. You got to be more specific, man. You got to give me X or slot. Hey, I got
a lot of rumblings that Malik Neighbors is overtaking Marvin Harrison Jr. as the number 1 receiver.
Good point too. I was going to say something about that, but I'm glad he mentioned it. But go ahead, Chris.
me listening to the last couple of days of what I've been hearing, what I've been listening to, I would say X, but I wouldn't be surprised if they went slot either. It really depends on, again, I think that fourth slot, that fourth pick is going to determine who drops where in terms of skill set, skill positions, whether as far as receivers. That's going to be the play. Who makes that move and moves up to 4 to get a QB is going to determine where the receivers fall and who's going to be available. I'm not expecting MHJ to be available at 9, which then means if Neighbors is available, do you take Neighbors? Do you take Rome? It's so.
So
But
if you had to
since
lean
you
one way
asked
or
me
the other,
specific,
X or slot.
I'm gonna go X.
Okay. All right. Respect it. Respect it. Go ahead, Sean.
X, because you can move Keenan Allen to the slot where he could do his best work. You can move DJ Moore to the slot where he can do
You
great
DJ
work.
there too, yeah.
So, X.
I tend to agree with that, man. However, it all depends on how you view the receivers that are available, how you view Keenan Allen. Like as Sean just mentioned, Keenan Allen, help me out in that chat, kids. Keenan Allen does his best work in space inside the slot where he can really he's a juke master, you know what I mean? He's a route running master at it, and you give him more space instead of isolating him out on the boundaries. You just got more Keenan Allen to work with. And so to me, I think so that's where I think it could get interesting, Bishop. That's why I think, because I do think Marvin Harrison is the best X in the draft. If you by measurables and by what he does, he's pure X. Not saying that he can't work the slot and get down, because I think he could do that too. But if you're looking at it through those lenses, then I think the edge goes to a slot guy, and that would be Malik Neighbors, who can also play X. So I mean, he's an elite separator. He's explosive as hell. I do think. So we'll go right here before we get to a station ID and get to the Micah Parsons conversation. If they move up, which I think there's a strong possibility could happen, they could move up with that 9th pick and get back into that top 3 or 4 area and get a receiver. When I just thinking about what I just said and what everybody else just said, it would not surprise me if they went Malik Neighbors there. Anybody want to speak to that?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You just don't have enough capital to do that. Like, he could do it.
Next year they have capital.
I know, but if we keep, and like the lessons of the past sometimes affect the future. You don't want to mortgage the future. You know what I mean? For today. That's my 2 cents there, right? Like, if you can avoid dipping into next year's, capital, I would suggest you avoid it. I would also suggest that you try to gain more this season and do more with less, as opposed to mortgaging next season. Mind you, like the only little caveat that I'll throw to support that idea is that we do have a secondary pick. We have an extra 2 next season. So they may want to play with that extra 2 from Carolina during this draft. I'm not sure. If it was me, I would try to save and avoid using that extra capital. But that's my 2 cents. What do you think?
I'm gonna throw this in this, man. As much as I know everybody is looking at names, that number 9 pick, me personally, I would still look to trade that back a couple slots and try to grab me a 2nd round pick, and I would still make a move and go get me a guy for that X slot, or even the slot for that matter, because I think they could actually trade back no further than 15, and I wouldn't be mad with a Sean know who I'm finna say. Brian Thomas Jr., bro. Go get him and get you, and in the process of trading back those few slots, you pick up a 2nd round pick that you can then fill fill another void that we have. So that's me. I'm not finna get stuck on a particular name just because that name is there. I'm looking at how can I best benefit this team and this young quarterback now. And that guy can do that. What you think, Shawn?
With that, yeah, I'm not sure. You know, let me clarify or repeat the question again so I get it clear.
It started off about whether we should take a slot or an X, and ended up in a conversation about whether or not you use some capital to move up with the 9 spot if you see a receiver there that really is a game changer for you to get back in the top part of that draft after you get your first pick. And who would that receiver be? And I could see, I just tried to make a case for I can see why they would go with Malik Neighbors.
Well, if they can, I mean, if 4 quarterbacks go, then you can, and you feel Marvin Harrison is the difference maker, then you trade with the Chargers. All right, you give them what they want. You give them, and if that's your dude, if that's who you think, if that's the highest wide receiver you have on the board, he might be the highest person on most people's boards. All right, and if you can go get him, then yeah, dip into next year's. Again, this is again why I don't understand the refusal to trade that pick for the Hall, because now you easily could have gone 1-2. Stayed at 2 with extra draft picks, or traded down and still got Marvin Harrison. You know what I mean? So I don't know. If 4 quarterbacks go and Marvin Harrison's there, you can go get Marvin Harrison. Okay. The only question is, what's the difference? What's the drop off for you between Marvin Harrison and your next best receiver? Because if the drop off isn't that great, well then no need to go up. Okay, and let's not get it twisted, because I believe, along with a lot of people, around the country, that Marvin Harrison is the best player coming out of this draft. Just because he's a best player coming out of this draft doesn't mean other players can't be great. So people got to stop acting like D-bags. Oh, we need the best. We want the best. You don't need the best all the time. You can have great. You can have excellent. You can have excellent. He just wouldn't be the best. So people are
you
idiots.
just grow into being the best over time too, right?
You could, but I mean, people are so stupid. Like, well, I want the best. I want this, and that doesn't always work, because the highest rated prospects don't always work. Marvin Harrison could be a bust, highly unlikely, but he could be a bust. Right? That possibility is there, slim, but it is still there.
Yeah.
So if the difference between your assessment of the gap between Marvin Harrison Jr. and Romeo Odunze, or the gap between Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors isn't that great, no, then don't trade up for that, because again, they could be so they only make 2 All-Pros. I mean, come on. That's the thing. We want excellence. We want this at every position. Well, guess what? That's not how life works. That's not how the NFL works. You show me one team that has an excellent player at every position. Show me one team. Show me one team in the history of football that has had excellent players at every position. It doesn't happen. So these are idiots who don't know jack spit about football. Like, well, we can just get this. I want this. This is what I want. Who the hell cares what you want? You got to find people who fit what your system is. And Brian Thomas Jr., he's a great fit for me, because why? He's already been a number 2. He's already been a number 2 receiver. So he's not going to be, give me the damn ball, because he's not getting the ball. He realizes he has DJ Moore. He's got Keenan Allen. He may not have Keenan Allen after a year. So find the best fit. And if they don't think that the difference is too far, if you think that Malik Neighbors or Romeo Odunze can be a perennial All-Pro, 2-time, maybe 3-time All-Pro throughout his career, then don't trade up. Don't.
Hey, this is Shawn just explained to you and demonstrated why you don't put gunpowder in Rottweiler's food. No matter what they tell you, you don't put gunpowder in the food. Shawn went off on him, just snapped on him. But you know what, man? That thing That thing can go a lot of different ways. Shawn is spicy, man.
Don't take pet advice from Nomad, by the way.
No,
Nomad, just put that out there. You may have your pets made deceased.
I'm tired of knuckleheads. We want great everything. We need a great offensive line. We need a great quarterback, a great center, a great guard, two great tackles, two great receivers, two great fullbacks, two great kickers, two great punters, two great. Like, dude, chill out.
Shawn, breathe.
Hey, let's get a station ID.
Serenity now.
Let's do a station ID. Give him a chance to get some oxygen.
That was funny. Whoever said serenity now, I'm a sign.
Best Chicago Bears content anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at night postgame, and every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms, and only on the Nomad Network.
That's right. Hey, Canuck, please give me a hand right quick. That's right, you guys, man. Please keep up the good support, man. Love you guys. Love the community we're building. And we're going to keep building in that way, man. Thank you. Make sure you subscribe to the Nomad Network. Hit the like button and do the same thing for Sports Zone Chicago and the SuperBack. We love the support. I see new people in the chat. Please, if you have not already, please consider subscribing to both channels, man. We both put out great content, and we appreciate any of that if you can consider that at least, man. But make sure you hit the like button if you do nothing else. And it just helps us let YouTube know that we're there, and, it tells YouTube that people like this content, so it only helps, man. Please get the likes up for us. But, hey, man.
Hey, before you transition, man,
Let's do Plank, man. My boy Plank.
I'll just hit Plank's super chat. Thanks to the number one No Maniac, Plank, $2 super chat. Oh, here comes another one from King Booker.
Can you put it up for me?
I will. 105 eyes, 105 views, only 34 likes. Let's get those likes up. Bear down. Gotta love it. Our guy Plank always keeping it real in the chat. Thanks a million, brother. We appreciate it. And on to King Booker World again. Number 2. No Maniac. You can fight it out with Cornelius Squaws later on. When I think about this season, I get good vibes. Hey man, I'm getting good vibes too. Hopefully this all shakes out the right way. It's going to be interesting, and I'm really excited to see what the draft holds for us. So
right on.
Any sense on it?
I got good vibes too, man. I've shaken off the disappointment. And I'm looking forward and back to my optimistic self. I do think we have a great opportunity in front of us. I'm optimistic, but until we get to week 1 and see how this roster shakes out in its full 53, I'm going to always be worrying about that depth, the depth factor. That's going to be the thing I'm going to be talking about a lot in the offseason. But we do have post-draft to get UDFAs. We have, right during camp and right after camp, when guys will start getting cut, some nice names or come off some rosters, and we can kind of buffer our roster that way. But I got really good vibes right now for the season, but that's going to be my hang up until we get to week 1. But thank you, King, man. Appreciate you. You and Plank, man. Thank you. All right, so let's get to the conversation, man. Let's get to what we came here to talk about, man. I've been hearing, I'm pretty sure a lot of people have heard that, there's some rumblings in Dallas that Micah Parsons has ruffled feathers, and he's basically he's become what they would consider a pain in the what in Dallas, and if he's not, and the word is, and I'm paraphrasing here, if he got moved by any chance, there'll be some people in the organization kind of happy and relieved. Now, the conversation that we're going to have today is, should Poles consider that? Should there be some kind of communication between he and Jerry Jones? Because I'll tell you guys this. I don't know how many people were watching Cowboy games in the latter part of the season. I watch sidelines a lot when I'm watching live games. I look at the players on the sidelines. I look at the energy. I look at the tone that's being set on the sidelines between the coaches, the players, and it doesn't look like a jail situation. I can tell you guys right now, you go back and look at the entire game if you want to, but the 49ers have the Dallas Cowboys as number. And I seen a team that's totally defeated on the sidelines. They took it from them. They just took, basically, I can't say manhood, but they didn't take their manhood. They
kind of pulled a whole card.
Yeah, they punked him. They punked him, and you can see it in the energy on the sidelines. And I think what Micah Parsons has been doing the entire offseason is responding to the fact that he doesn't think they have a shot. And I think he's right. They just took the defensive coordinator away. That's the guy that kept Micah Parsons in position and kept him going. Now they don't have him. They took the best running back. He's gone. And I'm telling you,
Nomad, who cares? Coaches aren't important. Coaches, it's all about the players.
Hey, man.
The hell with coaching. They're just there to collect a paycheck.
I'm just setting the table. I'm just setting the table for you guys to take off. So go ahead, kids, man. You want to speak to any of it?
Man, look. I'm gonna go all over the world, all over the map with this. So let's start. So the first one is simple comp. Would you draft? And this is for you three gentlemen. Would you got any one of you guys draft Chop Robinson over Jared Verse in this draft?
Hell no.
Side question.
Nope. Not me.
So then why are we trading for Micah Parsons?
Two different players, man. You can't. They are two.
They are, but they aren't.
No,
they
aren't.
They are, but they aren't.
Hey, Kedz, let me tell you right now, Micah Parsons is proven.
That's right.
He's a generational. We know Micah Parsons is a generational player. There's no anybody that wants to argue with you about that. I like to meet that person one-on-one. Look me dead in my face and tell me Micah Parsons is not generational. We don't know.
No, he is.
Chop Robinson. They're two different guys.
How would we use him in the scheme? Right?
Go ahead, man. Finish.
Be able to use them in. How would they utilize Micah Parsons in the existing scheme with Flus and company?
You want to answer your own question, or are you asking me?
No, I'm throwing that. I'm throwing that out to you guys.
Really, say it again.
How do you envision them utilizing Micah Parsons in this scheme?
All over. Everywhere. Now I know for a fact that Micah Parsons can capture an edge. Chop Robinson hasn't proved that to me. He's shown me more times than not that he cannot. And I don't like comparing the two because they're two different. They're the same body type. I know what you're getting at, kids. I know exactly what you're getting at. They're the same body type, but the strength is in two different galaxies right now, and the ability to be able to capture an edge is like night and day for those two guys.
So here's the bigger picture to this question and why I really asked it. If you have the opportunity to draft somebody in a similar mold and pay them on a rookie contract as opposed to paying big money and potential draft capital for Micah Parsons to bring him in, would you draft or would you would you pony up for the proven product? Again, he is proven, not to take anything away from Micah Parsons. This is open conversation. What do you gentlemen think?
So I'm gonna throw this out like this. I'm gonna deal with this in sections. First of all the rumbling that's being thrown out there is typical of the Dallas Cowboys when they want to try to get a hometown discount. So all of a sudden now, when it's time to pay the young man,
well said.
I mean, that's part of the conversation. I was trying not to go there.
Since you brought up the young man in its totality, it has to be brought up. That's why I said I'm going to do this in sections. So first and foremost, because I'm down here in Texas and I hear all the rumblings all the time, it's ironic now that it's time to start looking to pay the young man. All of a sudden now there's a problem. Hasn't been a problem up to this point. So I'm going to pass off of that one to now let's talk about the player and how he could be used in our system if they were to be envisioning or thinking about, do we make a run for this guy? How is he going to be utilized? First and foremost, I mean, I've seen some major flashes from the guy, since he's been in the league. But when I think about Flus and now with the addition of Eric Washington, how would he really be used? Of course, he's not. I don't see him as a hand in the dirt type guy.
He can
So
do it.
I know
He
he
does it.
can.
He
I
does it.
know he can. Um, but my biggest concern, my biggest thought on it is two things. One, how's he going to be used, and then why? When you can get someone in the draft that could probably fit your scheme a lot better versus going to get a guy that you're going to cause for who those who've used the term, and I I I take a step back from using the term generational when it comes to Micah. Is he an extremely great talent? Yes, he is. The reason why I don't use the term generational with him because I've seen when he's gotten exposed. So that's why I'm a little remiss to use that term generational with him.
So,
Is he
so you
better
wouldn't
than
make a move. You wouldn't make a move for him.
no?
Okay, that's what we're getting at. That's all we're getting at. That's
Sean,
all
what
we're
you
getting
think,
at.
brother?
No, there's too much. It's too much. He's too much. And I'm not saying he's not a great player. I'm not. All right. And so he's far too much. All right. When you're trying to get somebody who you can get a guy who's similar to that. All right. Here again, coaching matters. You're going to have a guy. You're going to have a guy who can coach and develop and pull the best out of defensive linemen. You have a guy, and that's what the hell we're paying him for. All right. So you don't need superstars. We have a great defense. All right. We have a great defense. And if you get if you get a guy that can be molded, can be coached, is coachable, and I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Micah Parsons, but we don't need him to be as good as Micah Parsons. So everyone has to stop saying, well, if he's not as good, Micah Parsons is better. Well, let's take him. No, what if he's 3/4 as good as What if he's 7/8 as good as Micah Parsons on a much cheaper deal? What if he sets the edge consistently with a little more with which I'm not saying that Parsons can't. Parsons is a little light in the ass. All right, you get a good block on him. Sometimes you can move him, but if a guy can, and I said I want the other guy to be consistently setting the edge. So now it stops on this side, and here comes Sweat. And where you going? Because you can't roll to your left, quarterback, because that's stopped. That edge is set. And from your right, here comes Sweat. From the middle, here comes Javon Dexter. Right in your face, here comes Andrew Billings. So no, I think Micah Parsons is great. I think he's a phenomenal player, generational. No, but I think he's a great player. Again, it doesn't mean he's not a great player. But no, I just wouldn't. It's too much that he's going to ask for. He deserves it. He's played well. Except playoffs, but he's played well. But no.
What you got to give up to get him, man? That's my question.
I think 2-1. 2-1.
2-1. Yeah, I wouldn't do
Firstborn, left arm,
Tell you what, though,
pinky toe.
he is generational,
82-inch
and
TV.
he's on a pathway to the Hall of Fame, guys. So he's a little bit more than just a good player. So you got to think about it. Definitely,
But he ain't generational.
But you have to remember.
I would say he is.
You have to remember what type of scheme is he in. What are they allowing him to do? Moving him from one scheme to another.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get that, Sean.
I can speak to that. I
think he's schemed. I think he's schemed the verse, man. He showed. I mean, he wouldn't be an ideal, what we think of ideal 4-3 end, but you can move that dude around, man. He's a football player. If it was just a number 9 pick, yeah, I might have to train him.
Hang on, guys. Hang on for a second, guys. Hold on 1 second. Here's what I know about the Cowboys defense. It's the same. Dan Quinn ran the same thing as we run. It's a little bit more hybrid, like Eric Washington's version of it is in Buffalo, where they stand up a lot more guys and they use position versatile guys like a Micah Parsons or like a Leonard Floyd type, faster, quicker guys. It's the same defense that we run here. It's just a hybrid version of it, where they stand guys up and don't necessarily have to have that guy's hand in the dirt, the defensive end. So it's not that he would be learning anything new. It's just it would be about how Eric Washington would choose to apply him, which would probably be the same way they use him in Dallas. But go ahead.
Yeah, even then, the thing is, he plays a joker role, right? And that's more of a hybrid linebacker defensive end, if you will, right? Like that's probably the best way to put it. My son plays very similar sometimes, right? They move him from defensive end to linebacker and vice versa. But traditionally, he's a true lengthy, tall linebacker. If we're looking at Parsons, he's not. He's a bit of a different thing. And the freedom that they have in moving him wherever they want is because of the difference in personnel on the Cowboys versus the Bears. We don't really have a place for him to go in a joker role, right? Like that's what confuses me.
What do you say?
Where do we put him in a joker role? We already have
anywhere and everywhere. It's all about the creativity of your design. You can put him
but you're forgetting.
I can tell you that for a fact. I played in a defense like that where we had that type of player. So
you played in it.
Well, hold on a second.
I studied enough Eric Washington to know that he does the same damn thing.
But you're forgetting personnel, right? We already have a Tremaine. We already have an Edwards. We have a linebacking core that is high caliber. So those guys aren't going anywhere for him to sort of supplant them on downs. Those guys are key to the defense. The defense is sort of built around that back seven, allowing the front seven to rush. Those guys need to be stationary for the most part. Where do you put him? If you really just truly put him at the edge, his responsibility is going to be closer to what you're actually envisioning, and that is set the edge. And that's not necessarily what he is great at.
Kid,
right?
He's about it is
what he's maximized at.
It's
not even that he's great at his
position. Every play, he's gonna be here, he's gonna be there, he's gonna be doing this. It's not the same thing every play. It's not. This is black and white.
But what you're describing is a problem, and why it's a problem is because now you're paying big money, big salary for a situational player in this scenario.
Bro,
I'm not sure why you would do that. Like if you want to have a situational player, I would draft him.
Go ahead.
First of all,
go ahead. Hold on, Chris is up in there. We'll get to you, Bishop. What you got, Keith? Chris. Okay, go ahead, Bishop.
Tomato.
I'm sorry. I was on mute. I'm sorry. I'll just say this and I'll get back out. It just kind of reminds me of what we talked about with Justin and how they would not shape the offense toward his strengths. You got a guy like Micah Parsons, you add some more hybrid
Who's
to
going
it.
to change his scheme, brother?
I think if you're smart, you would. Yes. If you're smart, you would. If you're smart, you would.
What have we seen from Matt Eberflus?
Hold on, man. Y'all guys wait, man. Y'all jumping on top of each other. Just hold on. Let people finish the thought.
No, I'm just saying, being the veteran defensive guy that he is, I mean, you don't think with him and Eric Washington that they could modify that defense to fit a Micah Parsons talent in there? I mean, you don't think they could do that? No,
they could. Well, go ahead, Bishop.
I think they can too. I mean, if it was given up to 9 pick, I'd do it in a heartbeat. I still believe in building to the draft, but in my estimation, Micah Parsons he's a next level person, a next level player.
So if he's a next level player,
kind of like me in the 80s, I was a next level player.
And that you were, Chris. I have no doubt. But if he's a next level player, why all of a sudden now would they be willing to move off from him?
Oh, I'm not sure that they are.
Well, no.
This conversation, Keith, man.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they are, Keith. I believe it could be conjecture. It could be just.
I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm not saying that it isn't. I'm just asking the question: if he is such a great player, and so he can fit into any scheme, why would they?
Because he might have worn out his welcome, man. That's how.
Come on, bro.
I'm not sure.
How many players had the Cowboys had in the past that wore out their welcome, but they made sure they paid?
Well, here, let me answer. I'm not sure that they are. I probably think that they won't get rid of him.
Well, see,
and I think you made a good point too when you said, it's time to pay him. They picked up his 5th-year option. They picked up his 5th-year option. He's going to be $21 million next year. So they're probably, which is a deal for a guy of that caliber. So they probably won't get rid of him. But given the scenario that Nomad just introduced to us, I mean, I'd give number 9 for him. Wouldn't do it. Wouldn't think about it.
I'm gonna nip it in the bud for y'all right away, man. I know Shawn got to jump in, but I got to get this point out, bro. Y'all, I got to get my point out. My point is this: I'm down here. I hear it all the time. They did the same crap with Dak and ended up having to pay him, and they literally got drugged for overplaying their hand. That's what they're gonna do with this young man too.
I don't think anybody's arguing that.
They
man.
might.
I don't think anybody's arguing that at all, man. Whether or not it's a good idea, that's not a. So I'm talking about in terms of with Dallas. What you're talking about Dallas? That's not even an argument. I think it is stupid, but that wasn't the point. But go ahead, Shawn.
Again, what's the question? Everyone, because people kept going off on different tangents about him.
Yeah,
I thought we talked about. I wouldn't do it.
Okay, I'll just rephrase because Kedz got into a scheme fit. What could they do with him? Could he play the Joker role? What the thing about a 4-3 zone-based scheme is the rules are you don't have to be you don't have that defensive end doesn't have to play the same way every play. You can do multiple things with that. Your front doesn't have to stay in the same position. And what was asked was, do you see Flus being able to be diverse enough to apply Micah Parsons in the way that he needs to be applied to be effective on the field? I think, like Chris said, if he's smart, he will do that. But that's why he's got a guy that has diverse schematics and Eric Washington to be able to bring that aspect to the table in case you get a guy like Micah Parsons. So if that makes sense to you, Shawn.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
No. It's just too, because you still have to factor in the financial aspect. If you're just saying put him on the team, yeah, hell yeah, put him on the team. It makes sense. But you still have to find out. You still have to factor that in. You still got to get offense. You still got to get a wide receiver. Are you still going to go get another offensive tackle? You're still going to get another more offensive lineman. Are you going to get depth of the defensive line? What are you going to do? So because there's a financial aspect of it. No,
Thank you, Shawn.
I feel like this is how I feel about it. And we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. I think is it a risky situation? Is it a risky proposition to reach out and try to get a guy who is at the end of his contract and has no guarantees to be able to be signed after 1 year? Because he's out of contract after next year. Is it risky? Yes, but I don't think you stray away from risky because it's risky. I think you have to be a little bit ballsy as a GM in order to when you get an impact player like that available, that might be available to it. I appreciate everybody's opinion, man, and everybody is more than welcome to how they feel about that situation. I respect it. I really do. I respect your opinion. Mine might be different than yours. I think that the opportunity presents itself to get a guaranteed impact player like that. With a quarterback, you bring it in on a rookie contract, it's a doable situation. The only question I would have about Micah Parsons being a Chicago Bear is, can you guarantee you can get this cat on the contract after this season? That would be my only question about the situation. Ability and what he brings to the table, no question at all. What it's going to cost you, you can afford it. You got a quarterback on a rookie contract. You're good.
And Keenan Allen's money could possibly come off too.
Yeah. So there you have it, man. So let's wrap this thing up, man. Let's give out some pleasantries. If you want to speak to the last thing I said, go right ahead, kids.
I sort of do a little bit, but I'm going to hit a super chat.
Hold on, Chris, can you help me out with the chat right quick? I got to run to the door.
I'm going to hit the super chat at the same time here. So
Jerry
Black
Jones.
Rob, $2 super chat. Thanks a million, my brother. Good to see you representing. Hopefully you've liked, shared, and subscribed already. If you haven't, please do so. Follow my guy Shawn at Sports Zone Chicago as well. In any event, how about Rome at 9 and 2025 capital for Parsons? So when he threw that out there, I had to stop and go, ooh, that's not crazy talk, really. The crazy portion of it is just that financial piece, which I have a hard time dealing with. I know Shawn just touched on it. I think that's really the linchpin, but if you're trading something from 2025 to get that defensive end on the other side and you get the wide receiver, as long as the financials shake out, I'm with it. I think it would be an interesting move. But again, you really hamstring yourself by way of dollars and cents. What do you guys think?
Bro, it goes back to I wouldn't be against it, but at the same time, we got to stop repeating cycles, bro. We always end up depleting our draft capital from years to come, chasing after that one guy. And I'm gonna leave it at that.
Fair. Any thoughts, Shawn?
On this particular Black Rob's comment?
Yeah, on Black Rob's quote. Yeah, or his
no,
his message.
No.
No.
I mean, no, I'm not doing it. No.
You're not doing it?
You have to be sure to sign this guy.
It's $1.10 for sure.
It's all this literally is. And everyone to stop just because there's a guy who's possibly available. Oh, he'd be good in the Bears. He'd be good in the Bears. He'd be good in the Bears. No, that doesn't mean that he's good because a guy is good. Doesn't mean he's going to be good on the Bears. It doesn't mean that. So, and again, the financial aspect. This isn't fantasy football where you just make your own team because you want. There has to be a chemistry fit. Why are they sick of him in Dallas? All right, get some of your players to find out who. There's got to be some players on the team who know him or went to school with him or know people that know him or or have the same agent. Why the hell are they getting sick of him in Dallas? So if there's a reason, is that gonna be a situation here? Do you want that same situation over here? And if it's because he speaks his mind, well, you know what? The Bears really aren't high on people speaking their minds. So now you're gonna have a situation here. Okay, and after you paid him all this money, can you guarantee you sign him first and foremost? So then you do. So now you're adding more resources to the defensive side of the ball and not to the offensive side of the ball. No.
All right, so let's give out some pleasantries, man. We got to wrap this thing up. Go ahead, kid.
Right on.
You already do that?
Right on. No, I just hit the super chat and wanted to make sure the guys had the opportunity to touch on. Black Rob, thanks a million for representing with us today and sending that in. I think it's an interesting situation, but I honestly, my headspace is right there with Shawn's on this entire topic. In any event, No Maniacs, thanks for hanging out with us. Let me give some quick shout outs to some of you guys, starting with our homie 10 Bears, keeping it real in the chat, standing ovation out there. Thanks for coming through, AC Adam. Barrelissimo was kicking it with us today. A couple of awesome chats from him. Some nice messages as well. I know our guy Brandon Hyatt was in the building. Tracks, thanks, Tracks. Who else we got? Jay Grizz as per normal. Calvin Canterbury. Thanks for representing with us, Calvin. Ron Winarski, Mike Davidson, Just B327. Who else we got in here? Notorious TBG. How you doing, Notorious? It's been a minute since we've seen you. Hassan Noble. Thanks for coming through. Hopefully all you guys like, share, and subscribe. Scottish Bear as well. Thanks for hanging out with us, brother. We appreciate it. Man, packed house, cool chats. I'll keep it moving and pass it on down to my guy, the Bishop.
Everybody, I want to thank you guys today for hanging in with us again, a little past an hour. And as we was very spirited today with regard to our opinions, which is great. And I'm glad that it's Friday so that we have a chance to do that, and give everybody something to really think about over the course of the weekend. With that being said, I just want to thank everybody, the No Maniacs, the Sports Zoners, Unite. More importantly, to the guys on the panel, as always, it's great. And again, we're not going to always agree, but it's good. It's good to have good spirited debate, man. That's what keeps the blood flowing and to the start of a great weekend, So for those of you that enjoys a good cigar and pair it up with a nice bourbon or scotch or a nice tequila, enjoy yourselves. Everybody be safe. Enjoy your families. Make sure that you get out and get you some vitamin D in the sun, as Shawn was telling everybody earlier today. It's very important, especially now that we're in spring and moving towards summer. So, for those of you that have opportunity to work on your tan like I will today, because it is so bright and sunny and 82 degrees at the moment. But I digress. To the guys, I love you guys, man. It's always a pleasure chopping it up with you guys, man. And hey, man, I'm gonna pass it on to my man Shawn. But everybody, be blessed, be safe, enjoy your weekend. Shawn, to you, brother.
Sports owners and No Maniacs Unite. Thank you for the love and the support. Man, it got spirited in here, and that's what you want. Make sure you follow Sports Zone Chicago's YouTube channel. I'd appreciate it. Just like you follow the Nomad Network, we appreciate it as well. It got spirited in here, and that's what it's about, man. You know what? We respect each other. We have our opinions. We're passionate about them. We're spirited about them. At the end of the day, you know what? We go back to our lives, having a good conversation. We feel good about ourselves, all right? Guys, have a phenomenal weekend here in the Chicagoland area, although it's rainy right now. It's going to be mid to high 60s today, 70s tomorrow, maybe 80 on Sunday. So enjoy it. Get out there, hit a rooftop, hit a patio, hit a brunch this weekend. Do it, man. Spend time with the people you care about, man. It's summertime shy is right around the corner, and man, ain't nothing in the world like summertime shy. So if you haven't been here, make sure you try and get up here during the summer. It is off the chain. Do something else. One more thing. Be the reason somebody smiles today. All right. Send them a compliment, send them a text, do something. All right. Just a lot more. There's a lot of bad stuff and hate going on in this world. Let's spread a little more love. All right. And we're gonna bear down. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna get some good draft picks, and we are going to go to the playoffs. And man, I'm fired to freak up, baby. Nomad.
So, hey, thank you guys for being in the chat today, and everybody watching, listening to whatever, however you get in the stream and whatever platform you use. And thank you, appreciate you guys. The energy was spirited in here today, and that's what you come here for, right? Is that not why you come here? To be engaged.
Are you not entertained?
That's right.
Are you not entertained?
If you came here for that, just hug for us to hug each other and be pals. We all are different human beings, so are you. We embrace the differences between each other instead of running away from them. I love these guys, man. I love what they bring to the table. I set that table for them to have a heated discussion, and that's exactly what we had. And I hope you guys got what you came here to get. Hopefully we did our job in the chat. Hope you guys did. If you think so, give us a thumbs up on the way out the door. But I just want to say thank you again. Hit that like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And if you do nothing else, make sure you hit the like button. But subscribe, please consider doing so for both networks, both the Nomad Network and Sports Zone Chicago. And we'd be very pleased with that, man. So again, I hope you got what you came here for. That's our job, to entertain you, have adult, engaging conversations that are on point with what's going on with the Bears organization. It's part of the conversation lexicon. We had to speak to it. Hey, I enjoyed it. I don't know about y'all, but I really enjoyed it. But before I get out of here, I got to leave you guys. And don't forget to come check us out Sunday on Nomad at night. We'll have a good show that night, too. Sunday at 8 p.m. Central. So don't forget that. But before I get out of here, I got to leave you with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Can
Peace,
you
y'all.
dig it?
Boom.